So there's this great allegory, the scorpion and the frog. And it's a very famous one. I think it's from Aesop's Fables, but I could be wrong. But it's a very, very simple allegory that has been famous for millennia at this point because it's so true. The allegory of the scorpion and the frog is with us because it speaks of human truths which are irrevocable. Human truths that, they don't change because human beings don't change. Okay, and this is something that you should learn as soon as possible. People don't change. That's why reading about the past, reading novels written hundreds of years ago is valuable, because the truth about people is always the same. And the scorpion and the frog is a key example. So what's the story? Well, in the allegory of the scorpion and the frog, see, the scorpion and the frog are both on the same sides of the river, and they both want to cross it, right? Now, the scorpion, of course, he can't swim. So he asks the frog, "Can you carry me?" And the frog very naturally says, "No fucking way." Because you're going to sting me. Because that's what you do, you're a scorpion. And the scorpion says to the frog, "Well, no, I'm not going to sting you, you fool, because we're going to be crossing the river. And if I sting you in the middle of the river, you're going to die and drown, and I'm going to drown with you. So trust me, I am not going to sting you. I swear to God, I swear by everything that is holy, I swear on my mother scorpion and my father scorpion that I will not sting you." The frog thinks about it. And he says, "All right, I'll carry you, but don't sting me. Please don't sting me. You won't sting me, will you? Will you?" Of course, of course, the scorpion stings the frog. And as the frog is drowning and dying, and as the scorpion also drowns, the frog asks the scorpion, "Why did you sting me? You promised that you wouldn't." And the scorpion says, "Well, it's just my nature." A lot of men are constantly surprised by the behavior of women. A lot of men, they just put women on a pedestal, and they think that just because they've put that woman up on that pedestal, that the woman is going to be like some sort of saint. But she's not going to be a saint, she's just going to be a woman. Okay? She's just going to be a human being. She's just going to act in ways that are natural to her, that are of her nature. Women aren't bad. Being evil, good, morality, that doesn't play into it. It's just interests. That's the fact of the matter. See, men and women, they behave and act in ways that are in their best interest, or what they perceive to be in their best interests. It has nothing to do with goodness or being evil or this or that or the other. Crackerjack morality doesn't play into this. It's all about what's in your best interests. Men put women on a pedestal because they just can't get enough of women, because that's the way of men's nature. They look at a woman and they find her so attractive, so pretty, her hair, her eyes, her tits, her ass, and they can't get enough of the woman. And so they allow themselves to be blinded. They don't look at the woman as she actually is. They don't look at the person. They look at their idealization. Carl Jung wrote about this. The whole idea of the anime, or animus, I forget, I read it decades ago to tell you the truth, but the whole point of what Jung was writing about is that we see in the people we love the people that we want to see, but who might not actually exist. We're just, we're fooling ourselves, just like the frog did. We're fooling ourselves and seeing somebody who might not be there. Okay, that's the whole notion of putting a woman up on a pedestal. It's not that we are putting up somebody who is worthy of our adoration up on a pedestal and being, being disappointed. No. They were never that person to begin with. They were only in our minds. Okay? So in a very real sense, it's not even the fault of the scorpion, if you will, or the woman. if she doesn't live up to our expectations. It's our own fault because we were fooling ourselves. We weren't looking at the facts. A woman's nature does not change. A woman will always be, how can I put this? They will always be selfish creatures. They will always be selfish creatures, and they will always be capricious creatures. That's their nature. They will always be ruled by their emotions. They will never act rationally. They will never act in their long-term best interests, because women do not perceive reality that way. They are ruled by their emotions. They are ruled by their desire to comply with the group, the social group that they belong to. They will do things that are against their long-term best interests in order to satisfy their momentary caprice. That's natural, that's normal, that's the way they are. And to pretend otherwise, or to wish it away, or to say that they shouldn't be this way is stupid. It's like, again, wishing that the scorpion weren't the way he is, okay? So, you who are a man, who are rational, who are not ruled by his emotions, well, what do you have to do? Well, you have to start figuring out a way of controlling your nature, which is of putting up a woman up on a pedestal, of making her some sort of queen, some sort of magical being in your imagination, some kind of savior who will save you from the bouts of loneliness and heartache that you have. You have to stop that, because that's part of your nature. And see, like I always say, the difference between men and every other beast on the face of this earth, the difference between men and women and children is that we can control our emotions. We can control our impulses. So that is the impulse that we have to control. We have to make sure that we do not fall into the trap of idealizing people and seeing in them things that aren't there, that aren't real, that are just illusions. We have to stop that. You have to stop that. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for your inherent nature of putting a woman up on a pedestal. Don't be the scorpion. Don't be the frog. Don't be dumb. Be rational. Be reasonable. And understand what's happening to you first. Because see, a lot of times, and this happened to me, see, a lot of times, you meet some woman and she's gorgeous and she's so smart and she's so this and that and the other, and she's into the things that you are into, right? And see, the quite natural thing that you do as a man is that you fill in the gaps in the knowledge that you have of her, and you imagine her to be this incredible being. But that's not who she actually is. That's just a figment of your imagination, right? So you have to prevent against that. You have to stop yourself from falling into that trap. You have to prevent yourself from falling into the trap that the frog fell into. What happened to the frog? He believed the scorpion. The frog knew better. The frog was being rational. But the scorpion sweet-talked him a little bit. The frog believed him. Fool the frog. I mean, whose fault was it there? Was it the scorpion's fault? No, the scorpion was just acting in his nature. It was the frog's fault, because the frog, like you, the frog had the sense to realize that the scorpion was going to kill him, was going to sting him in the middle of the river and send him to the bottom. The frog knew this, and yet allowed himself to be sweet-talked by the scorpion. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Understand that a woman's nature does not change, but your nature can change. You can control your desire to make of this woman, this ethereal being. You can control that impulse to put a woman up on a pedestal. You can control that and deal with a woman as she actually is. A human being with lots of faults, lots of virtues, but an inherent nature that will never change. Because she is a scorpion. And if you put her up on a pedestal, she's going to sting you. They always do. It's their nature.